Hello, this is Michael J. Dombrowski. This is our Data Meeting 2 presentation for Group 2 for EDTC 615. Our group consists of Malika T. Benton and myself, Michael J. Dombrowski. We met on the 19th. First, we reviewed our agenda on our Google Doc, our collaborative Google Doc that we keep going. Our presentation this time is recorded by me and submitted by me. Our agenda was to go over the artifact tracking sheet and triangulate the data according to Venable's meeting notes. Focusing our standard this week really helped us for our data reflection. We chose a high school English standard that Malika identified, and that really helped us apply goals and objectives to the data to specifically pinpoint ways that we could use the data to identify those learning gaps with our students. We focused our exploratory question, combining one that Malika had and that I had that were very similar into one, and that's how can instruction and assessment be differentiated so that all students, including those with IEPs, have increased understanding and mastery across goals and objectives. We added our standard to our data and our goals and objectives to the data so that we could see specifically where those deficiencies lie. So the red is the lower performance, and the green is the higher performance, and the white's kind of in the middle. We identified artifacts for meeting 2. Big ones that stood out were things like Power School, iReady, Performance Matters, Park, our instructional calendar and lesson planning, specific targeted reading goals, and writing assignments. Identified a bunch of artifacts for data meeting 2, things like the iReady reading diagnostic and the learning gaps there, where students are below grade level, very significant and prominent in our students, according to the data. Power School teacher gradebook data, D average on homework completion accuracy, kind of middle of the road there. Performance Matters student data, students who are English language learners or have early warning system data, things like special education also, which were significant but not necessarily prominent with everyone. State testing data like the Park, identifying theme in the text, very relevant. Student extended constructor response, identifying thematic elements, things like weak writing and ability to summarize, with learning gaps there, and instructional gaps the same way. Do we need to spend more time analyzing text and focusing on pre-writing? Very significant and prominent for us. Vocabulary and action exercise responses, things like incorrect word use, somewhere in the middle there. Connecting to literature, think critically, and extended interpretation, short answer responses gives us a connection to learning gaps there, and very significant based on the standard we identified in the data. Unit plan for identifying theme in literature. Do we need more differentiation for students with IEPs? That's an instructional gap. Instructional calendar, building in time to teach and reteach as needed, are significant. Lesson plan reflections and evaluations help us identify instructional gaps there. Student lesson reflection Google Forms can help us identify learning gaps and instructional gaps, and things that we need to improve instruction for, both in our student performance and the teacher's instruction. Malika also focused on some more specific things. She did have the iReady diagnostic, like I identified, but then things like unit plans for theme, teacher lesson plans that identified specific things about theme, warm-ups and visuals, pop quizzes, essays on theme, things that are really focused and targeted towards what we're looking for in our data. Classwork and home assignments that focus on theme, worksheets, and things like participation. So a little more kind of focused on the day-to-day of what the school is going over, what the teacher's doing with the students. So in a recap, assigning a specific standard and specific goals and objectives to the data helped us focus our search for artifacts and targeted our learning goals and observed student deficiencies. This step and our more focused approach help us delve deeper into the data and make better determinations about what kinds of learning and instructional gaps we need to address in the future meetings. Our strengths were organization, communication, ability, and willingness to be flexible, and our use of technology. Our weaknesses, as always, scheduling and finding time to coordinate with busy work and personal schedules. We're still struggling to make sense of some of the data and figuring out the best ways to isolate and manipulate the numbers in ways that help us identify gaps in student performance. Plans for data meeting 3 are here. I'll probably present for week 3. We'll try to stick to a specific day and time for our meeting and continue to collaborate online and through text message and our online meetings and our collaborative documents. Steps to review for data meeting 3 are here.